Hey, hey, how you doing? What's up,
I'm having
Eli?
a great Wednesday. How you doing, Peter?
You
Good to
looking
see you.
springy there in the video feed.
Yeah, I figure, it's springtime. We're getting there. It's not hotter than July yet, but we're getting there.
I love it. Right on. Hey, by the way, we are doing also something else new. We are streaming into the Music Industry City Discord server. So we are now going to be in someplace
Awesome.
else.
Welcome to all of our Discord viewers. Welcome to the Music
Yeah.
News Power Hour.
Right on. So let me I just have to hit another thing here. All right. Announcements. Where's my announcement thread? There we go. Check the new music news. Yeah, it's a little more complex than that I have to do, but we're going into the countdown. Hey, and welcome to the Music News Power Hour here on the Music Industry City Network. Today,
I don't know about anybody else, but I lost you for a second, Peter.
now, can you hear me now? All
We can hear you
right.
now.
All right, I fixed the mic cable, but I guess not. All right, so today we are going to talk about the EU is opening up for travel, NFT prices drop, paying artists with Bitcoin, what could go wrong, and live music updates, and Zoom is now an events platform, plus your daily Spotify update. It is Wednesday. Let's welcome my co-hosts Eli Window and Angela Randall. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing great today. How are you, Angela? It's good to see you.
I'm great, thanks. You too.
Love it, love it. Welcome to all of our viewers on stream. This is the Music News Power Hour. We're going to get started today. Let's look at this day in history. Today, we remember the death of John Barry from 2016 on this day, a founding member of rap group Beastie Boys. John Barry died at the age of 52. Barry originally formed the four-piece hardcore punk band The Young Aborigines in 1978, who later became the Beastie Boys and came up with the name for the group. We remember also the passing on this day from 2018 of American musician, songwriter, and record producer Reggie Lucas, who died age 65. Lucas is best known for having produced the majority of Madonna's 1983 self-titled debut album and for playing with Billy Paul and Miles Davis Electric Band for the first half of the 1970s in memory. Moving on, birthdays today. Born on this day, 1945, English musician, singer, songwriter Pete Townsend of The Who. Born this day, 1947, Greg Herbert from jazz rock American music group Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Also born this day, 1947, Jerry Hyman from jazz rock American music group Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Two guys, same band, same birthday, same year. What are the odds, right? I wonder if that's how they started playing music together. When's your birthday? No way. Moving on. Born this day, 1948, Jamaican singer, songwriter, and supermodel Grace Jones. What an icon. Born this day, 1952, Jeffrey Hyman, Joey Ramone from American punk rock band The Ramones. Born this day, 1968, Paul Hartnell from English electric dance music duo Orbital. And born this day, 1992, British singer-songwriter Sam Smith. Happy birthday. On this day in history, 1960, American DJ Alan Freed was indicted along with seven others for accepting $30,650 in payola from six record companies. 2 years later, Freed was convicted and given a suspended sentence and a $300 fine. On this day, May 19th, 1988, James Brown was arrested for the fifth time in 12 months following a car chase near his home. He was charged with assault, resisting arrest, and being in charge of illegal weapons. He was given a 6-year jail sentence. Watch me. On this day, 2007, lawyers for Michael Jackson dropped an effort to block an auction of the star's personal belongings and other Jackson family items. An agreement was reached with representatives of an auctioneer who was the current owner of the materials, and a New Jersey man who claimed to own a warehouse full of Jackson memorabilia after a failed business venture wound up in bankruptcy court. And that's it for this day in history. Back over to you, Peter.
I love that. It's the hey, your birth. We have the same birthday. Want to start a band?
Right. Oh my gosh, you play? I play. When's your birthday? No way. We should have a band.
What a great story. All right. So I want to first welcome everybody that's tuning into our live streams and now in our Discord server. So we are pumping it out to our Discord server, and we're going to be doing a lot more there. So this is Music Industry City Broadcast Network. So if you want to find out more about where you can find us, we're in Clubhouse. We're streaming on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, DLive, a whole bunch of other platforms. But if you want to find out more, you can go to musicindustrycity.com and register for free. We send out the schedule because we do stuff not just on Clubhouse. We do it all over the place. So welcome to the Music News Power Hour. This is where we scour the World Wide Web for music business news that we feel should be open for discussion. We're going to kick off with the reads very shortly. And how this works is we're going to read key sections of the articles for like first 20, 30 minutes. Then we open the stage for a roundtable discussion for the remainder of the hour. So feel free to raise your hand if you'd like to come on stage to offer your thoughts. And please note this is being recorded and live streamed. If you enjoy this, want to tune into our program and networking, tap the green house at the top and follow the Clubhouse group. And also follow Eli and Angela. And we're going to get it started from there. So without further ado.
One more thing before we get started, Peter, if I may.
Yes.
We have new Android users, and we want to invite everyone to please use the plus sign at the bottom of the room to ping your friends into the room because they may not be able to see the Music News Power Hour in their feed. So be sure to use the plus sign to ping in your friends. And with that being said, now let's get started. Thanks, Peter.
Let's get to it. Thank you for that. All right, we have a lot of great news to share today. If you want to follow along on all the articles that we cover, you can do so at musicindustrycity.com. So once you go to musicindustrycity.com, you click on the graphic that says show notes, and inside there, it'll take you to a Google Doc, and we have all the articles that we cover throughout the week. And also artist resources. We also have the playlist that we put together in our morning room every Friday, the Good Day Music World. And we also do on Friday in this Newsroom Power Hour is the Week in Review. So, and that's a great industry roundtable. If there's something like you want to like jump in, like we kind of just, it's like around the water cooler. It's kind of like let's talk news and what's going on. So it's really open to everybody. So starting off, this one here is from the Washington Post, and you can find this on many, many different platforms. Just type in the words EU to reopen, and you'll get a lot. It says the European Union has agreed to open its borders to vaccinated Americans and others after more than a year in which travel into the bloc has been severely restricted, a spokesman said Wednesday. The decision represents a formal turning point away from the eerie economy-sapped status quo of the coronavirus pandemic, which major cities have been empty of international tourists. One final round of approvals will be necessary in the coming days, but the sign-off is not in doubt after ambassadors agreed to the plan on Wednesday. The precise timing of when the borders will actually open is not yet clear. European Commission spokesman Christian Wiegard said, but officials said it would happen in the next days of the final signature, which could come this or next week. So it goes on saying today, the quote is, today EU ambassadors agreed to update the approach to travel from outside the European Union. The European Council now recommends that member states ease some restrictions, in particular for those vaccinated with an EU-authorized vaccine. That rule means that all the coronavirus vaccines available in the United States would be green-lighted, but vaccines manufactured in Russia and China would not be. The EU guidance is not binding, meaning that some countries could choose to be more or less restrictive than the bloc as a whole. Greece, Italy, and Spain, countries that depend heavily on tourism and that had their economies contract more than those of their northern neighbors during the pandemic, have pushed hard to find a way to reopen safely. A few countries, including Greece, decided weeks ago to open their doors to Americans and residents of dozens of other countries. Britain, which is no longer a member of the European Union, has a separate set of rules with no special treatment yet for vaccinated travelers. Americans can travel there, but they must quarantine for at least 5 days, regardless of whether they are vaccinated. There's a lot more that goes on into these. So, talk about expectations. It is a long article, and you're going to find that with any of these announcements because they get really into the details. But hey, it's starting to open up for international. Start getting those passports ready, dust them off, and for the bands, hopefully this is a good sign that we can start.
You just got really quiet, Peter. I think we lost you for a second there. You trailed off at the very end of your sentence.
What is going on? What about now?
And
Much better. Yeah, much better. Hi, Mike. Welcome. Hey, it's good to see you.
I was just going to interject that I have my passport and a ticket to Spain for July 1st, so I'm really glad that this opened up, because otherwise I was going to... They also, the airlines haven't been giving you refunds. They've just been saying, okay, you have a credit for next time you want a ticket.
Yeah, that's interesting. And for a period of time, it was that battle between rollover points and a refund, and that was also along with concert tickets or festival tickets, where they were saying, like, I know Ultrafest was saying that it wasn't canceled, so it wouldn't be covered by insurance. But then they were saying to their vendors, "Hey, we don't have to pay you because we canceled the show." So.
Yeah. And we had pre-bought a bunch of tickets for last year, to the point where when everything canceled for the pandemic, Delta had something like $5,000 of ours and weren't giving it back and weren't giving us interest.
Yeah, so, well, hopefully we now can put all these to good use.
I can identify. I handled tours, and I was fighting that battle for all of my clients. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Right on.
Anyway.
Angela, any word? Because as the article did mention, Brexit happened.
Oh, somebody said it. I mean, we can't play any specific song in relation to that, but I'm sure there are a few that come to mind to let you know how I feel about that. Yeah, I was going to chime in and just bear in mind, if you are traveling to or through the UK on your way to any EU countries, to make sure to check the updated quarantine and stopover and entry point requirements for coming into the UK, because we're not part of the EU any longer. And just to bear in mind, I know this may not apply to everyone, but some people don't realize that the Republic of Ireland is not part of the UK. So if you're flying through Ireland, that's a separate, that's an EU-related country, and they have their own stipulations. As long as you don't leave the Republic of Ireland and travel into Northern Ireland, which is in the UK, then you should be okay and not have to alter your travel. But otherwise, if you're coming through one of the four nations here, you have to check our stuff, but as opposed to the EU's one.
So Scotland, Wales.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Scotland, Wales, England, Northern Ireland.
Right on.
How to be okay in the UK. Thank you so much, Angela, our UK correspondent here at the Music News Power Hour.
Right on. All right, moving on. This was really interesting because we started talking about the high def and price points, and we had the articles yesterday with Amazon and Spotify rolling out and changing and lowering their rates for high definition audio. This was an interesting take that was in Hypebot, and the title read, Music streamers just knowingly killed a simple way to pay artists more money. So this goes back saying yesterday, Apple Music and 30 minutes later, Amazon Music announced they would not charge extra for high-res, lossless, and 3D spatial audio streaming. It seems likely that Spotify will follow soon at the same price point. Tidal, Qobuz, and even Amazon Music had been charging an extra $5 or $14.99 per month for the higher quality streams. Because 51% of revenue collected by a music streamer is paid out in royalties, every $14.99 per month high-res subscriptions added $31 more each year to the pool that pays artists, songwriters, and labels than the average $9.99 per month subscription. Many analysts believe that Apple and Amazon cut prices to compete with Spotify. Others point to low adoption of high-res streaming. After all, if no one is willing to pay extra, why not give it away for free? Whatever the reason, the message is to artists: don't expect higher royalties anytime soon. This was more just like this kind of thought piece that on Hypebot, but to take the thought piece to the next level is, when we see this, it's you're undercutting what Tidal was, Qobuz, and it's all about investors, market share, things like that. But is it going to affect? Is the game that, hey, if we get more subscribers on the platform at X rate at a lower rate, that is better than having less subscribers pay more? And at where do the lines cross? Where does that chart cross? And the other is, would they even pay out more anyway if they were charging more? This is on the assumption that if subscribers pay more, they're going to pay out more.
We're assuming it will be passed on.
Reaganomics trickle down never worked. All right. Speaking of, we're going to go over to. Sorry.
This got a little political there for a second.
Well, it wasn't really political. It was more just kind of like the trickle-down economics was always that buzzword.
I was going to throw in a trickle-down economics joke, but 99% of you won't get it.
Exactly. We're way too old for this. All right, so we're going to kick over to Variety, and we're going to talk a little about NFTs, and there's a lot going on. This one, Monstercat. So Monstercat has been really ahead of the curve and in their own space of doing things outside what we can call the industry status quo. They have whitelisted music for streamers to just go ahead and use. They're not looking at for royalties. They're not looking at subscriptions. There's a whole lot that they've been doing. And now with thinking ahead, now, we don't know if this is going to work or not, but this is what they're saying is Monstercat's NFT drop with RAC and Jose Delbo lowers the barrier to entry for fans. So it starts off, independent electronic label Monstercat returns for a second ever NFT drop this week, featuring work from comic artist Jose Delbo and Grammy-nominated producer RAC. The collections of NFTs called Icon and Odyssey will be sold via marketplace Nifty Gateway. It goes on, of course, to talk about NFTs, what they are, but you have had discussions of saying, although artists like Grimes, who have made around $6 million through the sale of a single NFT collection this year, have found the tokens to be a lucrative new income stream. Such sales only benefit the rich few and excludes the average fan looking for meaningful interaction with the artist. But with Monstercat's the collections here, the indie label will offer multiple purchase options to include fans. For the Icon Pack, it's selling 1,000 NFTs at just 50 cents each, with the prerequisite that fans own a Monstercat NFT already, available on the secondary marketplace. The CEO, Mike Darlington, goes on to say, if we want this community to grow, we have to give everyone a fair shake so buyers at every level can own and trade NFTs and watch their art appreciate over time. With the Odyssey Pack, Monstercat offers more exclusive and expensive options with 500 NFTs available in a non-auction which you can see for a fixed price of $777 and 25 NFTs available in ranked auctions beginning at $999 each. This is one of the first use cases of ranked auctions in the music industry in NFT sales. This means users bid against each other and compete for positions on a leaderboard for an hour. After that time, wherever bidders land on the leaderboard will determine which number NFT they get. For all NFTs in the Odyssey Pack, NFT purchases come with an exclusive vinyl record, and the 25 ranked auction NFT pieces of vinyl come with autographs from the creators. So it starts. Sales starts today. I thought it was interesting. I liked the fact that they're making it, lowering the barrier to entry. But once again, we want to just kind of put out that public statement. Be careful when you're getting into any of these with blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs. Because in this article from Business Insider, and again, you can find all these articles in the show notes at musicindustrycity.com. Just go to musicindustrycity.com, click on the little graphic that says show notes, and you can follow along. This is from Business Insider and talks about the markets and says NFT prices are worth less than half what they were in April as the market has cooled. Even Mark Cuban had a digital token up for sale for a month. All right, and it goes on that saying that NFT prices have lost significant value since the boom in the early 2021. Even crypto heavyweights, Mark Cuban has had a sale of over a month. Sales volumes, prices, and active market participants have all steadily declined after peaking in January of this year. All right, so, it talks about the NFT market boomed earlier this year, reaching a high of almost 49,000 sales in a day in early March as celebrities, artists, and musicians tapped into the mania for digital work. Almost all NFT sectors saw a decline in terms of sales and dollars spent throughout April, although overall sales volumes in dollars spiked again in early May, are averaging over $176 million during the first week of the month. This blip higher can be attributed to a rise in the value of collectible NFTs, which are commonly part of series like CryptoPunks, MeBits, or CryptoKitties. But volumes in dollar terms have since fallen below $28 million on average in the past week from around $78.62 million a month ago, according to data from nonfungible.com. And so these are the kind of things that, want to pay attention to. It's like, the frenzy has died down, but there's growing talk of NFT being a bubble. Mark Cuban, who owns the Mavericks, is a huge crypto advocate and a fan of the meme token Dogecoin in particular, and we're going to talk about that a little. Even he must be feeling the slower pace. Nuevo Galaxy, a multi-layered work in the spirit world of Beyond, created by Animic, was purchased by Cuban for 0.4 Ether on the 13th of April. Cuban offered it up over a month ago for 5 Ether, which is currently $17,562, which is a markup of 1,150%. But so far, it is still up for sale. And this was that discussion that we were brought to the table of saying you're looking at, the first mover, and we don't know what that secondary market is going to do. When you have, you're like betting on the $69 million Beeple. It's like, is that person going to hold on to it? Is that going to be worth $70 million? Is it going to be worth $50 million? You don't know. This is all just a new era. And it's new. It's exciting. I love the potential and opportunities. Can't stress enough. Be careful. And you're also looking at what has been going on in the crypto market. Everything is in the red right now. And there's bigger things at play. You're talking about Elon Musk makes a statement and can move markets. You're talking about Reddit. If you're getting crypto advice and investment advice on NFTs from a subreddit, you're already in trouble. So please, anything you hear, research, look into it, take your time. Don't try to rush into something like this if you're spending money. But yeah, so I'm all for it. I love this stuff. I'm excited. Just be careful. And with that, I'm going to move over to the next one that is talking about from thestreet.com, legacy records to pay artists with Bitcoin. So what they started to do is allow its artists to be paid in Bitcoin, which they released in a press release. Legacy will become the first known record label in the industry to pay its artists in Bitcoin. Legacy is also seeking to make use of NFTs for listeners of its artists as another form of revenue. According to the press release, Legacy will, quote, release NFTs tied to extra perks for investors, amongst other things yet to release. Utilizing NFTs will change the power structure and profitability of the music industry. Long story short, Legacy plans to evolve the industry as we know it. Kaisha McLeod, the CEO of Legacy Records, said that the label can either get with the trend of cryptocurrency or get left behind. I see two choices here: either get involved, get left behind. What we're working on will allow many other income streams for artists for real wealth. I love seeing the way those in and out of the industry are creatively incorporating the use of NFTs. I mean, it's no secret NFTs alone have earned millions for artists already, but as for cryptocurrency and its potential as a whole, we knew this day would come, and we've been preparing to take it a step further. I don't think any business can afford to remain complacent in regards to the future. It is really an exciting time for us, the world, right now. This is the future, not a trend. Again, if you're an artist and you're looking to get paid in Bitcoin because it sounds cool, please just pay attention. The Bitcoin market in the last month has dropped 32%. I think I can't remember what it was. I don't mean it's dropping. It is literally just on it, just a downhill roller coaster. We've seen this before. It's not, this is like you're gambling. You're playing the stock market. So if you're an artist says, if a label says, hey, you're going to earn 1 Bitcoin from this. Well, that Bitcoin, when they say you earn that Bitcoin, could be worth $50,000, and then a day later it could be worth $44,000. And then when you cash out that Bitcoin, then you're paying for capital gains taxes, depending on if you were a short-term holder, long-term holder, what percentage you're going to be in different blocks. These are all things you need to pay attention to. Please, I can't stress this enough. Do not go in quickly just because you heard somebody on Clubhouse say this is a great idea. Even this article, and they talk with the CEO, and again, I'll reiterate, I'm for this. I love this technology. I love what the opportunities. But when they say in a quote that it's like, oh, I mean, it's no secret, NFTs alone have earned millions for artists. Yes, it has. For a limited few artists, it is something that sexy headlines make, these numbers, 69 million, Kings of Leon 2.6 million. You have no idea what's happening now. We've talked about it. We've seen that there's a 78% drop in NFTs in the last few months. Cryptocurrency, please just be careful. And if anybody wants to jump in on this or had any experience, please feel free to raise your hand. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
I think China's decision has affected things today. It's massively, massively dropped.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I've got two charts here, and you look at ETH today has lost something like Ether, which is pretty much behind most NFTs at the moment. That's lost 22% in a day. But actually, then you look at it over a year, and it's actually still up 959%. So it's like, how do you look at it? It's long term, short term. It's a very volatile market.
Right. And as an artist, when you're dealing with the label, it's like, okay, hodl. It's like, okay, well, we want to get paid out. We want to take our money and we want to invest it into tour. We want to invest it into the next release. Well, that $50,000 Bitcoin that the label is going to give you is now, at the time that you want to cash it out, is $35,000. And so, okay, well, do you hold that and say, well, we're just going to invest in the long term? It's you're playing with trying to get artists just to do a spreadsheet to say how much did you earn tonight at the show and how much did you spend getting to the show and home. That's difficult enough. You want to try to turn them into investors and predict the future?
I think that there's a really interesting thing that looking at it in the future, more companies like this, like Legacy, who are actually talking about dealing in crypto as their finance, if you like. Yeah. The more that does that, the more you move out of the space of what happens when you finally cash your crypto in and turn it into fiat to go and spend it, and you move more into that value, whether that Bitcoin is worth $24,000 or $60,000 doesn't actually matter until you actually change it to fiat. And if you're not having to change it to fiat, it's still one Bitcoin. Right. So if more and more companies start dealing with Bitcoin as their transactional currency, you start getting into the realms of, do you keep an eye on the dollar market and think, oh no, the dollar's fallen against the yen, suddenly you don't. You still go down to the shop and buy your stuff with dollars and it's the same price. So I think it's one of these things, we're in this middle ground at the moment where as cryptocurrencies become more and more ubiquitous across companies, it actually becomes less of a concern about the fiat to cryptocurrency valuation and more about just what cryptocurrency you have.
Yeah, I mean it's complex, and it's just going to I'm all for companies getting involved, but if you just be careful if the company's completely relying on cryptocurrency as their investments and for everything else. But I'm all for it. All right, so moving on, we are going to head over to Complete Music Update. And this one is the UK competition regulator to investigate Sony's AWOL purchase. And this one, again, you can follow along at musicindustrycity.com and click on the show notes graphic. So the UK's Competition and Markets Authority has launched an investigation into the recent acquisition by Sony Music of Cobalt's recordings division, which included the latter's neighboring rights agency and the AWOL label services business. The regulator served an initial enforcement order on Monday. Sony announced back that it was buying AWOL and Cobalt neighboring rights back in February in a deal worth around $430 million. The transaction saw Cobalt refocus its energies on its original songs rights administration business, stepping back from music distribution and the management of recording rights. All three majors have expanded their distribution and services divisions over the years, of course, providing services to other labels and directly to self-releasing artists alongside their more conventional label operations. But Sony has always been the most prolific in this space via its often acquisitive The Orchard business. Both The Orchard and AWOL work with both labels and artists, although The Orchard skews to label clients and AWOL to artist clients. So there was a logic to bringing the two businesses under one roof. All right, so it goes on deeper to look at this. The Pan-European Trade Group for the indie sector, Impala, had already referenced and expressed concern about the boost to market share caused by Sony's distribution business when opposing the major's complete buyout of the old EMI Songs catalog via its music publishing division in 2018. But whether those competition law concerns justify any actual regulator intervention on the Sony AWOL deal remains to be seen. So far, the CMA has only announced that it will investigate the deal, providing no other comment on that investigation. Even the timeline is to be confirmed. And it's so what they just said is the competition regulator simply stated, quote, the CMA is investigating the completed acquisition by Sony Music Entertainment of the AWOL and Cobalt neighboring rights business from Cobalt Music Group Limited. On 17th May 2021, the CMA has served an initial enforcement under Section 72 of the Enterprise Act in relation to the completed acquisition. You see this anytime there are some, big movers with, acquisitions, and it's common a bit. But if anybody had some thoughts on this one, want to chime in?
I just want to point out that that because it's different hearing the article than reading the article, it cannot be overstated that this is relatively innocuous. It's not as though there was anything untoward that they're bringing forward and saying, they've done anything, there was any bad business dealing or anything underhanded taking place. It's simply an investigation because of the nature of the business itself, and that Sony does potentially stand to have a larger market share than just about anybody else in the sector in this country. It's merely pointing out that they need to do their due diligence and make sure that that this isn't an enterprise takeover that is akin to a monopoly, and thereby shoving out so much more of the business in the UK. Victoria came up just when this came up. Did you have something to add?
Yeah, I was gonna just say that, to reiterate kind of what you're explaining, Angela, is that from a slight insider's perspective, it's not, there's no issue with the sale. It's just that, we need to get different countries permission. That's basically what this is, the process of permission due to the market share. And because of Brexit, we also need to get the UK's permission too. So it's not just Europe and the US. There's now 3 different entities. So that's kind of what's going on with the sale. It's not it's anything bad. It's just, this is the process for any business in any market.
Exactly right. And when you have the trade organizations like Impala, stepping in, and I think what they were saying was just their concern is just market share, because when we always have IFPI, we always have the annual reports, and it says, Universal, Warner, Sony has this much of a market share, and then this much goes to the investors, to the independents. So is it going to skew the independent market share? How does it get tallied in? And I think that's what they were also looking at. So again, this is sorry, Peter, not to beleaguer the point, but also because of the nature of the business, if people aren't already familiar with AWOL and Cobalt, the sort of very basic dumbed down version, as it was explained to me, is that it's
it's sort of a collection, if you will, of the works of independent artists, which works differently than if it were just a major label and their stable, or a major label and their imprints in their stable. And Victoria, by all means, chime in if I've got any of this wrong. But so, as that isn't something that's happened frequently with this in this business, they with such a massive acquisition, it does need to, sort of be treated as if it were a major acquisition of another company, as opposed to just all the independent artists that are associated with it. I think that's part of it as well. They're looking at these are as individual artists, but are all taken on by this company. So there's a lot of players in the game, whereas there wouldn't be in other sort of situations.
Right. Yeah, it's something that this is kind of normal. That's why I really brought this up, because when you see the headline, UK competition regulator to investigate Sony's AWOL purchase, it's one of those things that's like, it's not as bad as it sounds. It's kind of just another day at the office after a merger and acquisition.
You
But
don't
you
mean
never know.
journalists are sensationalizing something, do you, Peter?
Hey, you know something? I just wish some of these journalists, these writers could write a little bit better. I already do a terrible job of reading, but when the grammar's off and they're like writing is are, and I'm trying to read that, it's like I have to pick a word, so I'll stumble on that. And with that being said, let's check in with Eli and the weather.
All right, checking in with the weather, especially for all of our viewers who are joining us on the web, on Discord. Welcome to the stream. This is the Music News Power Hour, and welcome to our broadcast to everyone in the room. Let's check in with your local weather. And as we look around the globe, the days are getting longer and warmer. It's important to protect your skin from UV damage. You can use SPF lotion or protect your skin in the shade from a hat, an umbrella, or from the patio cover at your local pub or cafe. Over to you, Peter.
I like that. The local pub or cafe. Let's get outside. Let's have some. I can't wait to see so many of you. I'm just gonna go on a travel binge to see everybody that's in the audience, everybody that's up on the stage. I'm just gonna make a tour, and I'm just gonna live stream the entire tour. That's what we're gonna do, because I really want to have drinks with you all outside under an umbrella and pull some pints while I'm in London. And with that being said, speaking of touring, we're going to segue into one of the things that the benefits of me when I curate. We're going to start focusing on a few artists, and I get to talk about my favorite ones. So Bob Mould announces his 2021 tour dates, and there's going to be Boston, New York, Washington, Philadelphia. It's going down the northeast, and then shooting over via Chicago, Minneapolis, Seattle, Portland, and down into California, then over into Boulder and Texas, Colorado, Texas. And so he's got a great number of dates there, and so be on the lookout for that if you are a Bob fan, which I am, and this is great to see. So that's in the punknews.org, and while we were talking about good things happening with tours, we still have to pay attention that the fact is there are other countries that are still not opening up as quickly, and this one is from Mixmag, that 3 Croatian festivals have been forced to postpone. Uncertainty surrounding travel and testing has led to Dimensions, Love International, and Hospitality on the Beach being pushed back. The 3 festivals have been postponed due to uncertainty surrounding travel and testing in Croatia, and they have all been forced to move dates toward the end of 2021 or 2022. The Garantizno is set to be the location for these festivals, which were scheduled for July. Dimensions is postponed until September 2nd, while Love International, Hospitality on the Beach have been moved to 2022. The traffic light system imposed by the UK government has placed Croatia on the amber list, meaning that all visitors, and I'm going to say this in context because I was just talking about, all visitors will have to, let me correct this, meaning that all visitors will have to quarantine and take PCR tests. This has led to widespread rescheduling due to uncertainty about travel as well as the quality of the festivals themselves. In a statement addressing the situation, Dimension spoke of the disappointment, said we did all we could to make July happen. However, as things stand, there's still a high level of uncertainty about the events taking place in Croatia in early summer and throughout. So it's something that it's like the EU's opening up, and then it's like other things are still closing down. We are in a roller coaster. I guess you can say it's like the crypto market, but hopefully it'll end up going up. And with that, talking a little bit, I'm going to skip over this one because I want to head back over to the UK. And thank you, Andy, for sending this one over. And this one is from signaturebrew.co.uk. That's a little bit of fun, good news. You can apply for a Signature Brew beer grant up to £250,000 worth of beer to help safeguard the UK's independent venue and get bands touring again. I really like the sound of that headline. So let's go with it. At Signature Brew, we care deeply about live music, and we're committed to do everything we can to safeguard the future of the UK's music scene. The last 12 months have been incredibly tough on the UK's. Okay, we know that, leaving over 550 venues in danger of closure. With that in mind, they're pledging a maximum of £250,000 worth of beer to help venues get back on their feet and kickstart the return of live music post-pandemic. Successful applicants will receive an allocation of the brewery's studio lager to make sure their taps have fresh beer and help generate much-needed revenue to keep the doors open both this year and for years to come. And they have a panel made up of industry experts, professionals who are talking about it. Will join Signature Brew's co-founders to help allocate grants to successful venues. And additionally, a portion of the £250,000 worth of beer will be allocated to touring musicians and can be applied for. They have an application on this site here. Artists with gigs or tours booked in the UK within the next 12 months will be eligible to apply for their share of the beer, which they'll be able to take on the road with them, removing some of the overheads of touring at a time when they need it most. So it goes. I mean, it's fun. I mean, it's a great marketing, but the fact is, they are doing something to do, to help. So what their beer fund is, the total grants for the independent venues is the total beer fund is 250,000 quid, and then the grant range is 500 to a maximum of £5,000. Eligibility: the Signature Brew grants are available to independent venues in the UK. Venues must host regular live musical performances of any genre as part of their typical running activity, and applications are already open, and they close on June 5th. Andy, are you applying for this? Yeah, you applying for the free beer?
I actually can't drink beer, which is a bit of a shame. But I kind of like this from the idea that if you're a venue and you don't have to pay for the beer that you're going to be selling on the night, it's kind of a way that they can actually give financial incentive for places to open up in a way that they're only really going to get the financial incentive back if they sell the beer, and they're only going to sell the beer if they have people to the venue. So it's a great way of kind of encouraging, supporting venues to open up and get the money in a way that it's only going to work if the venue does open up. So in other words, they're not a government organisation, so they can't sort of clamp down on whether this grant's going to be spent in all the right ways. But by giving somebody an asset that will only be able to actually get the financial gain back from actually opening up and selling it to punters, I thought it was quite a neat little way of doing it. And plus, I think they're going to be applying for a new creative sector grant, which is another thing I'd love to let people in the UK know going on at the moment. There's a government grant for the creative sector. Look it up, look up Innovate UK and look up this new grant that's just come out, because there's money available for things. You just have to kind of work out whether you're actually eligible or not, but it's worth looking up.
And I appreciate
Yeah, I
that.
can have a look for it for you, Peter, so we can add it to later in the week. Sorry, I wasn't really listening. I was just too busy sort of trying to measure my back garden to see if it was the right dimensions to be able to apply for the grant.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, and it's kind of like, okay, and I applied for my noise ordinance permit and I'm all good.
Do I actually have to have bands, or can I just can I just hit pots and pans and that counts as a music performance?
I'll come
You
play.
are the
I'll come
band.
play. Yeah, I'll come play.
Right on. All right. Speaking of live events, we are going to go over and talk about Zoom, which became everybody's go-to platform as of about a little over a year ago. And just because we need another events platform, Zoom is letting us have it. And this one is Engadget. Zoom is launching a dedicated events platform. Yes. Having profited from the dearth of physical events during the pandemic, Zoom is hoping virtual gatherings are here to stay. The video chat service is today announcing an events platform that gives businesses and social users a place to create and share events, from yoga classes hands-on meetings to large conferences. The new features aim to cater to Zoom's disparate user base. For the company, it offers a chance to extract more revenue by pushing people, many of who simply use its free service to chat to friends, to its paid licenses, which range from $150 for smaller meeting subscriptions up to almost $65,000 annually for larger webinars. When it launches this summer, Zoom Events will offer paying customers tools, included a dedicated hub where you can list your upcoming events, be they private or public, one-off or series. Hosts will also be able to monetize events by providing customizable ticketing and registration for their gatherings. That's akin to existing on Zoom feature the company has been beta testing since last fall with smaller businesses and entrepreneurs. Understandably, that will now be folded into the broader event service. But where on Zoom was similar to Eventbrite and Meetup, offering users the chance to make money from DIY events, the new platform is larger in its scope. Zoom wants to be the online venue for a whole host of gatherings and the virtual lobby for physical events to boot, a place that welcomes corporate employees, startups, clients, and press and hobbyists. In that sense, the new feature sounds like Zoom's spinoff of Facebook events. All right, because we do need another platform to do some more live streaming on. There's just not enough. I actually didn't even, I was coming across some more articles, and I'm going to get to them tomorrow, but there's some more platforms that we still haven't discussed. And with that being said, let's kick over to Eli. It's at your favorite time of day.
It is my favorite time of day. The big green dot, it hits the spot. We are moving into our Spotify spot where we look at music and technology and wrap up the headline read section of our broadcast today. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to say hi to all of our viewers on stream. Make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, or join the club so that you don't miss any updates from Music Industry City. You can also visit musicindustrycity.com. Be sure also to ping your friends into the room. We have some new Android users, and sometimes they don't see us. So if you know someone who might enjoy the Music News Power Hour, ping them in, have them join the discussion. And as we wrap the headline read section of our broadcast today, we are about to open up to our industry roundtable. So also feel free to raise your hands at this point. We're going to open the discussion. Join us in the chat. Let us know your thoughts. And that having been said, let's move into our Spotify spot.
All right. Hey, do you remember a long time ago, in the past when I was talking about another events platform and live streaming platform? You know, way back in the past, at least 30 seconds ago.
Is there another live streaming platform? I don't know. It seems like maybe there's only one. I don't know.
I don't know. But we do have something that says Spotify announced ticketed live stream series. The Black Keys, Leon Bridges, and Rag and Bone Man are among those performing in the Drift produced shows. Can somebody mute whoever's not muted? Thank you. The Black Keys. The first of Spotify's live streams take place on May 27th. Leading music streaming service Spotify has announced a new virtual concert experience taking place over 5 dates in May and June in the company's biggest move in the concert live streaming space to date. 5 pre-recorded shows produced by Drift will stream live on May 27th, June 3rd, June 10th, and the 17th, and the 24th. Tickets for each live stream priced at $15 US, and that's US $15 or the local currency equivalent. In the date order, performers are the Black Keys, Rag and Bone Man, Bleachers, Jack Antonoff, Leon Bridges, a whole bunch that goes on. So each concert will last between 40 and 75 minutes, according to Spotify, which already links to external live streams from artist pages in the Spotify app, and formerly lent its name to a number of concerts themed around its most popular playlists. So they go on with a whole bunch of quotes here, and we're excited to be part of this. But tickets for the 5 shows are available from Spotify.live, which is produced live at the Worthy Farm series, airing this May 22nd. All right. With that being said, I mean, another live streaming, and we've talked about it, and I've been speaking for years saying Spotify is an entertainment platform. It's not a music streaming platform anymore. It hasn't been for a while. And we're going to do one more on this for Spotify. Spotify Hi-Fi launch could be imminent as users spot an icon in the iOS app. A Reddit user was able to find the Spotify Hi-Fi menu in a song in its iOS app, which could indicate the new subscription tier could be launching soon. This finding happened as Apple Music just announced its lossless audio quality with Dolby Atmos and spatial audio support coming in June. According to the Monarch, a glitch in the Spotify app for iOS made it possible to access the hi-fi menu. The user explains, quote, I successfully opened the hi-fi menu by quickly tapping and the glitched icon upon app launch. The user shared 3-second video with Spotify hi-fi menu popping up for almost a half a second. And so this, it's interesting. The hi-fi wars are coming, which also has included the price wars, which has included people getting outraged, saying that, well, if you're offering such low pricing, musicians are not going to be getting paid anymore. And now we also have Spotify doing more live streaming. It's not a music streaming service. It's an entertainment service platform. And that is it for the reads.
Can we just call it Stream Wars or like crossing streams or something? I don't know it's just Stream Wars, right?
Well, we all know from Ghostbusters you never cross the streams. All right. Any thoughts? Anybody? I know we have some people out there. One came up to in the audience, and any thoughts on any of those topics? I'm going to start over to Angela.
Sorry, I was just putting away some frozen sausages. I think the headline that stood out the most to me today was the brew, the signature brew, obviously. But I'm delighted to hear that that there was going to be a Bob Mould tour, which is just any tour at this stage being announced is fantastic. But also kind of sad to hear about the Croatian festivals having been forced to postpone. So I'm wondering if anybody's got any new updated information about tours or festivals in their area that are going ahead. I know there was talk, I think yesterday we talked about potentially Lollapalooza being confirmed or potentially going to be confirmed. But if anybody's heard more about that, I'd love to know about it.
I think it was. No, the dates still say. Oh wait, no, it is confirmed. It is. Yep. I thought I could. I just wanted to verify because I remember I possibly have saw it, but the 2021 lineup is out now. Tickets are on sale today in 9 minutes. So,
I mean, that wasn't a coincidence or anything. I think I was going to say I think somebody's been channeling their aura over to me from Chicago or from wherever, and it just popped into my head as something I remembered. But yeah, any more live music news would be great. Who's going to live?
Right on. Foo Fighters, Post Malone, Tyler the Creator, Miley Cyrus the Baby, Marshmello, Millennium Journey, Megan Thee Stallion, Roddy Ricch, and then the fonts. You get less bold after that for the other 70 artists that are performing.
Right. And for anyone joining us on stream, watching our video stream, you can actually see the article that Peter has pulled up. And if your eyesight is perfect, you can read all the way to the bottom. It's like an eye exam.
Jake Dobby, I think is the last one there. So
your eyeglasses
new glasses.
Prescription is perfect.
All right. Oh, you know something? In our morning room, the Good Day Music World, which we do every Monday through Friday here on Clubhouse at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., we actually have the front of house engineer for DaBaby in there quite a bit. So now that it's officially launched, I get to chat with him. We'll ask him tomorrow. He's usually in the room hanging out. And again, for anybody else that we do like shout-ins, so as we always like to say, shout yourself in for the music, for the Good Day Music World. And we always love to hear what you want to talk about. There's it's an open format conversation. Bring something to the table if you have a question about the industry, things like that. And we also have musicindustrycity.com. And if you want, you can go there and register for free at musicindustrycity.com. You can become a resident because we also do other shows in VR. We have a VR talk show about the intersection of VR and music. We do a lot of the live streaming that is not on Clubhouse. And we're also using other platforms as well and building a community. We're going to have some forums and groups for you. So it's about a lifestyle. And so we'd love to have you join us and, find out more about what you're interested in. So let us know. For all our programming here on Clubhouse, you can go to the show notes at musicindustrycity.com. Click on the graphic that says show notes, and that'll take you to all the headlines. And I think Life as Mary has come up to the stage. Eli, I wanted to pass to you just really quick. Was there something that stood out for you before we pass it along?
Well, and everything that's related to travel is interesting to me because I think that artists are definitely anxious to travel, and so I'll be keeping an eye on travel situations, and I think a lot of people will. That's really interesting to me. So that's on my mind.
Right on. Life is
I was in a
merry.
room yesterday.
Oh.
If I can just quickly mention that I was in a room yesterday. They said that some of the biggest problems with touring right now in the UK is toilets, because a lot of the toilet vendors have been lending them or hiring them out to campsites where they can just plunk them down and they don't have to move them. They just have to service them. So all of the festivals and all the things that are trying to go ahead, they're struggling to get toilets. So who knew that the most complicated factor for getting festivals and things like that back up and running would be places to do your business.
That is interesting. And something else interesting that I heard about touring, although it's not related to crossing borders, I've heard that a lot of rental car companies have sold off a lot of their rental car fleets to help save on overhead costs during COVID. And so for those of us looking to rent buses or cars or, for tours or otherwise, it's not only difficult to rent and reserve a rental car, but it's very pricey now compared to what it was pre-COVID. And so there are a lot of complications, but border crossing is definitely one that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. It's something that's definitely on my mind. But I do want to say hi to Life is Mary. Welcome to the stage. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks so much. I just wanted to mention the headline that stood out the most to me was the release of the events platform through Zoom. And I know Peter was kind enough to invite me up in the room prior to this one. But my background is that I run an Atlanta-based company that provides music lessons and music therapy services. And with the onset of COVID, we took everything online. Surprisingly, our recitals became a huge success over Zoom. We were all very nervous. My staff and I were very nervous about whether or not even any of our students would sign up for the recital experience. And our families have really enjoyed it for several reasons. One of the big ones is that their family members and friends globally can tune in, whereas
Right.
that was impossible before. But then also, we take a moment to talk to each student. We have a
Right.
lot of songwriters that we're working with, and so we get to ask them, what inspired you to write this song? And I think the families really love seeing the personalities
Yeah.
come out on screen,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
the
Well,
students feel
that's the whole
so
thing. Yeah. Thank you,
yeah.
Mary. Yeah. It's like
I was just going to say, I'm sorry to interrupt, Peter. I was just going to say, I'm a music educator myself. And so thank you so much, Mary, for bringing that to everyone's attention and reminding us that streaming is not just for performances. Streaming is also a great way to reach out and for families to attend events like this where they might not otherwise have an opportunity for great grandma or Aunt Mary to come. That's a wonderful point. So thank you so much for reminding us that streaming is for everyone. Streaming is for the children. Streaming is for the adults. Streaming is for all of us. I scream, you scream, we all scream for streams. I don't know. Here in the Music News Power Hour, we are moving into our final few moments. We'd like to get your final thoughts this afternoon. This afternoon. We are here Monday through Friday from 12 to 1 Eastern. We try to keep our broadcast to about an hour because we're sure you want to get back to your day. But as we move into our final few moments, let's get your final thoughts. Wayne, welcome to the stage. Final thoughts?
Absolutely. Hi, Eli. It's been a while since I've been on here. Thanks for, as always, hosting this room, Peter and Eli. This is great.
Good to see you.
great to see
Yeah,
you.
thanks so much. So I'm kind of excited about this Zoom events platform. I mean, pre-COVID, I thought the only people that knew about Zoom were blind people. So blind people were always doing like a lot of hangouts and things like that on Zoom, but it's like with COVID, Zoom just blew up. And so I'm excited because the Zoom platform just in general has always been really accessible for us to use with screen readers. And so I'm hoping that the events platform is going to be the same and live up to the standard of accessibility that Zoom has set for all of us. So this could be really cool.
A lot of buzz today around the Zoom new platform, and I think that's amazing that Zoom is coming out with a platform like this. Of course, we desperately need another streaming platform. I say in jest. But in truth, a lot of us have found Zoom to be an acceptable band-aid or substitute for the in-person things that we're missing right now. So this is very exciting news, and I think that a lot of us are excited about this Zoom news. But I wanted
I
to
just
say
want to
thank you.
know how you found out I had an Aunt Mary, Eli. That's amazing. Are you like a mind
I
reader?
mean,
Or...
what? I didn't know. I don't know. What? Anyway, that's a joke. That is our UK correspondent, Angela Randall. And on behalf of Angela and myself, Eli Window, I want to thank everyone who joined the discussion today, tuned in. Make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, or join the club so that you don't miss out on any updates. And you can join us from 12 to 1 Eastern every weekday. Over to you, Peter.
Right on. And thank you, everybody. It's great to see some faces I haven't seen in a little while. Thank you, everyone, for jumping on stage and joining us. And also thank you to everybody that sends us articles. We really appreciate that. It's like, hell, this is what you want to talk about. It lets us know. And if you don't send it to us, but if you have an article that you want to bring to the table, go right ahead. We'll do it for the round table. And also on Friday, we do the week in review. So we read less new headlines, but we talk about what's happened over the week and why we might lick our wounds or we might look at new opportunities. It's always a great time in here. And also, again, what we do on Friday in the morning, the Good Day Music World show is everybody gets to shout out an artist. It's a Music Discovery Friday, and then we put together a playlist. You can find all of that at musicindustrycity.com, and that's in the show notes. So just go to musicindustrycity.com, click on the graphic that says show notes, and it'll take you to all our resources, all the headlines, our playlists that are amazing because everybody comes up with such a great diverse suggestions. So it's an awesome playlist. I enjoy it. It's my favorite playlist, and I'm biased, I guess you could say, but I have nothing to do with putting it together. It's just that much of a great playlist. So again, thank you, Angela, Eli. Thank you, everybody else here, and we are going to be out of here. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks, Eli.
Great to see you, everyone. I hope you have an excellent, wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow.